So for the Great British Debate this hour, I'm asking, should politicians be allowed to accept gifts? Well, joining me now is political commentator Lee Harris, who's a trade unionist, anti-12s. Anti-12s, there's a dozen of you, mate. Let's talk about this. Should politicians be allowed to accept any gifts?
I think they should, but it is contingent on them declaring it on their register of interest, their register of financial interests. I think that is the key bit, because realistically, if you do ban it, then there won't be, there won't be any requirement for them to donate the ones that they will get anyway. So it'll just kind of boost the corruption and kind of will create a culture of, oh, well, I'll take that as a bit of double bubble, but I won't declare it to anyone else. So I think having them allowed to accept gifts, but being firm on, the declaration of interests and the register of interests is the key to keeping it, keeping it corruption-free or as much as you can.
I'm not buying that.
Really?
Does that not open them to corruption, the fact that they can accept gifts? So just by default, by me accepting a gift that somebody has given me, they've softened me up a little bit, haven't they?
Well, I mean...
well, they have, haven't they?
I can't speak to your character.
If you bought me a bunch of flowers, anti-12, 12 dozen red roses, or a dozen red roses, 12 dozen would be quite a lot.
12 dozen would be a lot.
But 12 red roses, I might be a lot nicer to you.
Oh, you may well.
Think about it.
I will.
Lee Harris. Lee Harris.
I agree with you. I've given this some thought. I'm not sure that they should be completely banned, although I am leaning towards that for the reasons you've just given. If you can buy gifts for an MP or a member, certainly at that level of government.
Exactly.
Right, that high. I mean, who needs gifts when you're on that salary as well for Keir Starmer? It's not as if he doesn't earn a big wedge anyway, and he's independently wealthy as well. So no, I think, even though I have been a little bit on the fence about this, I think that the best thing to do, if it was down to me, everything should be down to me, Nana. But if it's down to me, I would probably just say, right, no gifts for no one at all throughout the whole of Parliament, and then job done.
Absolutely. And I find it absolutely astonishing that these MPs, Keir Starmer in particular, telling us that he's saving the taxpayer money by not sitting in the stands because he's now in a box, which is obviously a VIP seat, which would cost ordinarily £8,000. I mean, that can't be acceptable, can it?
I mean,
let's be honest.
If we think about it the other way, if he hadn't accepted the box and he was sat in the stands and he had to hire, 10 police officers to sit round him for the better part of 90 minutes, you would be criticising for going, that's a waste of taxpayers' money. Why are the police there? You would realistically.
Don't tell me what I would be saying.
You would. The commentariat would.
You are not me.
He's stuck between a rock and a hard place. The commentariat would have a go either way.
Let me tell you what I would say.
OK.
I would say that's fine. You're allowed to have some police protecting you as you sit in the stands. They probably won't cost £8,000, actually, the lot of them all there, for the duration of the match. And a lot of them are already there anyway. And where he does things, that's costed him for the taxpayer's paying for that anyway. The fact that he thinks, listen, if he's that scared, he should then watch it on TV, like most of us. That's more like the normal person.
I think, this story is blown completely out of proportion. He is the Prime Minister. If it was the chief executive of a company, they wouldn't be sat in the stands. They'd be in a director's box.
Which they're paid for.
This is a senior leader.
Which they're paid for.
Well, the box is being paid for. It's no one's ripping off Arsenal Football Club. Do you know what I mean? The box is being paid for at the end of the day.
The box is a gift.
OK.
The box is a gift.
So if you want to ban gifts, would you ban second jobs for MPs as well?
Absolutely, I would, yes.
So GB News would lose a few presenters?
Well, that's my thoughts, though. It's not up to me saying who to get rid of.
Why aren't you calling for jobs to be banned, second jobs to be banned, as well as, gifts? I have already. Oh, really? I haven't called for it, but we've debated it, and I've said if it was down to me, MPs wouldn't have second jobs. Really?
Yeah, I've said that repeatedly. I've no issue with that, because I don't believe you can target all your energy into running your constituency, and I also don't believe that you should be accepting gifts, especially being paid more than the average person in this country, which is like, how much is it, 87 or 93,000? Yeah. £91,000 for an MP, and for those in the Cabinet and the Prime Minister, an extra however many thousand. So the Prime Minister's on 167,000, so you graze on more, and the freebies as well. It's absolutely absurd.
What gets me was the way that he said just now that that if I had security says that I have to sit in the stands. I think Keir Starmer has achieved something quite incredible. He's managed to make multi-millionaire Rishi Sunak look like a man of the people, with all of those photographs of him in the stands. Admittedly, there is it's a closed-off area of the stands, but he's in the stands. I just don't buy it. And do you know what? I don't think the public would have as much of an issue with any of this if the Labour Party, Keir Starmer, Jess Phillips, all of the on their justice warrior high horse, having a go at the Conservatives for their gifts and donors. I don't think it's the hypocrisy people can't stand, and it's eye-watering hypocrisy.
Andy.
I think, the fact is they've declared these gifts. They've followed the rules.
no,
they have followed the rules at the end of the day. I think a lot of the criticism over the last few years has been where the Tories haven't followed the rules necessarily, or, haven't quite played by the rules.
But he didn't follow the
When
rules.
we look at the kind of Michelle Mone kind of PPE scandal,
He didn't follow.
that was because they didn't follow the rules.
He didn't follow the rules.
rules.
Well, he did. He declared the gift.
No.
Eventually.
What do you mean
Not
eventually?
in time.
He did.
He declared them late.
He declared it, though.
Late. The rules. There's even a clip of him saying how the rules are 28 days, and he talks about it and everything. He declared one of those things late.
So he declared, out of how many donations did he get?
Oh, OK, so now...
one late,
Listen,
you know what I mean?
You can almost see the mental gymnastics of people trying to defend his behaviour.
Well, no, it's just
While he was in
not that deep
opposition-
at the end of the day. There are bigger stories to talk about,
Like winter fuel.
Like winter fuel, sure, that's a legitimate debate to have.
Absolutely.
Exactly,
So
that's the kind of
so
stories
what
that
do
the
you think-
commentariat should be speaking about.
So what do you think the optics are for that, then, for the pensioners watching that, these people taking gifts?
I think, lots of politicians take gifts constantly. Kemi Badenoch, one of the people that are running to lead the Conservative Party, one of her pledges last time she ran was to abolish the winter fuel payment. So I think, that would be something that I would send to the optics to the pensioners watching.
But they didn't do it. She's not...
Well, no, she lost, in
Well,
fairness.
they didn't do it anyway, because they'd look into that. And the Labour Party themselves looked into that, and their own research said that up to 4,000 pensioners would die. But it seems that they're expendable, by the way. Right, well, listen, stay with us. This is Stupid News.